Welcome everybody to tonight's home clinic. A home clinic is where we grab one quality coach and he presents on one specific subject for you guys to enjoy, and he usually does that from home. If you guys have been enjoying this series and would like to see it continue, we want to ask that you would like and subscribe below. Those things certainly help us to grow and is kind of that feedback to say this is a good thing. Keep this coming. If you have a desire to present in the future, reach out to us on Twitter, DM us. That's at the Chief Pigskin. All right, without further ado, tonight's home clinic. What's up, everybody? We're here for a home clinic, and I'm excited. I'm Nate Allball, by the way, assistant football coach at Unity High School in Tolono, Illinois. Us right alongside Rashad Graham, linebackers coach at Olympic High School in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Coach Graham was a part of a big turnaround last year at Olympic, man. You know, a team that had a couple down years, and they put a brand new staff together, and he's a PE teacher there at the school and was a part of a huge swing, man, 8-4 season and playoff game. And Coach, first of all, welcome, man, to Chief Pigskin.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to be on Chief Pigskin. I watched those YouTube videos and I said I got to get on it.
Yeah, man. Well, excited to have you on. And you were talking earlier about you're going to be talking a little defense today and about how important aligning to the field is to you guys. Now, I don't want to hear too much now because I'll let you save it for your presentation. But where is kind of some of these ideas coming from? Of did you have a mentor that's kind of making you lean towards field over formation?
So I'd be nothing if I didn't shout out my defensive coordinator, Coach Darren Hart. He is all-time great at ECU, and he's played on a bunch of great coaches with Chuck Pagano, and so it's his defense, and I coached in it, and he's like my mentor. It's a possibility he's going to call me while we're on this thing because I talk to him every day, probably 2 times a day. But we really just wanted to have something where we never got outflanked. We think that from a young age all the way up, two of the most dangerous places are the sideline and the hashes. And we think most offenses, especially a lot of the newer passing offenses, are trying to attack certain places. So we just want to protect those and never get outflanked. And so that's why and you'll see later we align the way we do, and we do some of the things we do.
Man, I really like the way you're thinking right now. These types of topics really get me excited. Tell me, how big of a school is Olympic?
So we're, like I said, we're big 4AA in North Carolina. So we have about 2,800 students.
Oh, that's pretty. How many classes in North Carolina?
It's technically 4, but there's like 6. So we go 1A, 2A, 3 little A, 3 big A, 4 little A, 4 big A. And so that's kind of how they categorize it. To be honest with you, and I'm new to North Carolina, I still don't really understand it. But
where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Okay.
I went to and played at North Myrtle Beach High School. And then I coached for 4 years at Sockstead High School in Myrtle Beach.
Okay. Home of Hunter Renfro, you were saying.
Hunter Renfro, yes, sir. After the national championship in, I think it's 2016, the school has a video board out front of it, and it said Hunter Renfro High School, and they left it up there for about 2 weeks or so. It was hilarious.
That's pretty cool, man. Well, Coach, without further ado, man, I'm going to turn this over to you. Share your screen and take it away.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. All right. Are we good? You can see it?
I got you.
All right. So we kind of coined this past year. So I like to always have PowerPoints that are focused towards our kids, and I want them. One thing we do, we always commit ourselves to only wearing our school colors. So our school colors are neutral colors. So I want to do the same thing with PowerPoints. So all of my PowerPoints, whether I'm teaching health or whether I'm doing football, start with the big O, and then I'll just change a little part at the bottom. But it's our Trojan defense. And a slogan we coined is all we need is 300. My defensive coordinator, Coach Hart, is a huge 300 fan, and so that's all we talk about is Trojan soldiers. All we need is 300. We talk about the diamond formation they set up in and how that relates to our defense, but I'll kind of get into that in a few minutes. But a little background information about Olympic High School. We're Big 4A. And so, like I said, we just took over as a staff last year. This was our first year as a staff together. Actually, this was our first off season together as a staff. Our head coach didn't get hired as head coach until about May, late May. So we just had the summer going into fall camp. So the previous year in 2018, Olympic High School went 3-8, and then this past year we went 8-4 with the playoff appearance with a 1 year difference. And all the credit goes to all the coaching staff, including our head coach. We really went in with the focus of changing the culture. We wanted to make it a winning culture in everything. And I mean, you can go on our social media. We created social media, and you'll legit see all the football coaches stand on the sideline of basketball games with the student section going crazy, because we just feel the energy that we put into everything is the same energy we'll get back. And so that's kind of what we did. And so with our defense, we didn't have a lot of turnovers this year. And it's crazy because we pride ourselves on being very turnover driven. But we just had some kids that if you told them to backpedal zone turn and stay over top of the receiver, that's what they were going to do, regardless of if the ball is wherever. But they were good kids, and we did a lot of good things with them. Our points allowed differential this year in 2018, that was the year before we took over, Olympic allowed 34.5 points per game, and it was very much a man blitz type defense before. And this year we switched to zone defense and with a 4-4 base, and we allowed 21.3 points per game. So that's basically a 2 touchdown difference in 1 year. Like I said, I mean, we might have ended the year with about 6 or 7 turnovers total. So we didn't have a ton of turnovers, but we played pretty good, sound defense, and went from there. And so we're a very simple defense, and we don't believe in having a bunch of goals or a bunch of different schemes that we're going to run. So our goals were to win, number one, to keep the score low, to allow no deep balls. We feel like deep balls kill your team's energy. From the fans' perspective, from the team perspective, from everywhere. Because as soon as you get hit with a deep ball, the fans going to be like, what happened? Who's the coach? He needs to be fired. And the kids, they'll hear that and they'll feed off the negative energy. So we do not give up deep balls. That is, if you give up a deep ball, you got to come out. And then get takeaways. That's another huge thing for us. We got to get takeaways. Like I said, this year, we didn't get as many as we would like, but we're hoping next year that we go and get a lot more. Some of the keys to our defense, and like I said, we call it the 300 soldiers or the Trojan soldiers. Patience is virtue. We're a very patient defense, and to the point where some of the people and some of the fans that early on in the year didn't understand what we were trying to do, they would get so impatient and be mad because we just gave up a 5-yard route, or we just gave up a bubble that got 3 yards, and we like, listen, you want 3 yards or you want 33 yards? But we feel that most offenses, most quarterbacks, most offensive coordinators don't want to be patient. From what we see, a lot of people script their plays or try to set up different things. So I'm gonna run a bubble, and then try to hit you with a bubble wheel or some kind of trick play. So we don't want to allow that. So we're going to just make everything short, and you're going to have 12 play drives, drive the field. You're not going to be able to take shots, and we're going to make you do that. We think that somebody's going to mess up. Either the coordinator's going to take a shot when he shouldn't have, a lineman going to be tired and he's going to get a false start or something like that, or something's going to happen to where it works in our favor. So we eliminate big plays. We align based off the dimensions of the field, not the offense. You will never formation us into the boundary. We might we put our 3-tech and our SAM and everything to the field. We might move a 3-tech to the boundary if you overload the boundary, but that's the most we'll do. We'll never move the alignment of our linebackers. Another thing, 11 men to the football. If 11 men don't get to the football, then you got to come out. And that's how we are. We don't care if you are a 5-star defensive end or safety, corner. We don't care who you are. If you don't get to the ball, you cannot play for us. And it's funny, and we'll look on film with the kids, and if they see their self not getting to the ball, you kind of tell because they start hiding their face during meetings or whatever. But the last thing, and it's just do your job. As coaches, we all have our own job that we do. And so we try to stress to the players, we trust each and every coach on the staff to do their job. So as players, you need to trust each and every player on the field to do their job. Because we're very sound, hold your gap type defense. So we don't want anybody trying to do anything extra than what they should be doing. Just do your job and the rest to handle itself. And so this is one thing that we put on the board in front of our defense of every meeting. We only need 300. And so we go back to the movie 300, and half of them are born in 2001, 2, 3, and 4, whatever. And so they don't even know the movie 300, but we always come back to in the movie 300, they line up in that formation and they hold their little shield up, and nobody can penetrate them from no area. And so we say the same thing. We just need somebody. You got to be a Trojan soldier where you can hold your shield up and defend. If you can't hold your shield up, then you might need to switch sides of the ball. So a little bit about our defense. We run a 4-4 zone defense. We run cover 3 and cover 4 until the cows come home. It's who we are. We are a zone defense. You won't see us playing cover 1. You're not going to see any stuff like that because that's not what we believe in. We might go cover 0, but you won't know until you snap the ball because we're going to make it look exactly like cover 4. So one of the biggest things we believe in is any even offensive formation, you should be in an even coverage. If you're in an even offensive formation, which would basically only is 2-by-2, you should be in an even coverage. So if it's 2-by-2, we're going to be in cover 4. That's the only thing we'll be in. Now, when we're in the 7-on-7 world and all that stuff, we might play a little cover 2 or something like that. But when the season starts, cover 4. That's it. And then any odd offensive formation, we're going to run an odd coverage. And so if it's trips or any kind of 2-by-1 with a tight end or any kind of wide off or 2-back, anything like that, we're going to be in cover 3, a true 4-4 zone, true 4-4 defense. Then our alignment, we align off the field and not the offense. And we stress this so much to our kids until now, most of the time, they already know, like, we don't have to signal too much unless we're going to blitz or change a specific job of somebody. They already know, hey, it's trips. Hey, we're in 3. They don't have to look to the sideline at all. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each individual group/position and kind of what we do differently there. And so defensive line, there's the old cliche of the game is won in the trenches. And to us, we think that makes the biggest difference. And I think everybody kind of knows that, but there's things we do defensively that we think make a difference on our team. And so we teach maintaining your gaps. If you're the 3 tech, that's your gap. You shouldn't be anywhere else but in that gap. And so if you're the 1 tech, same thing, that's your gap. But one thing we do is we believe guards control the offense. And what we see a lot of power, counter, trap, a lot of G pull series schemes, all those things. So we believe if you shut down the guards, you shut down the offense. So we always align our 3 tech to the field unless scheme tells us something different. The only way you're going to get us to align our 3 tech somewhere else is if you put a tight end and wing or some kind of nub formation or anything like that in the boundary and you start killing us there. But if you don't, we're going to have a 3 tech to the field. And we teach our linebackers and our safeties, you got to be able to play your backside or you're the rover backside. So, yeah, it's a 1 tech to your field. So teams are going to want to attack that. So that's kind of what we do with that. We also don't believe in specific sizes for our linemen or anything. You won't see us be the team that has a big 300-pound 1 tech or anything like that. We believe in, can you command a double team and can you get to the ball? If you can't command a double team, you can't play for us. And if you can't get to the ball, you for sure can't play for us. And so that's exactly how we talk to our players. If you can't demand a double team, you can't play for us. If you only getting blocked by 1 person, you better make the tackle. And we've been very successful. Our 1 tech this year was like 180 pounds soaking wet, maybe. And we didn't put him there for speed. We put him there because he was just a nasty guy, and he'd take a double team and he'd be yanking guys down and stuff like that. And so he was just really good with his technique and stuff like that. So we kept him in there. With our defensive ends, one thing we teach our defensive ends, we don't teach them to speed rush upfield. We don't believe in that. If you want to speed rush upfield, then it's probably a different team you should go to. We think that you will make plays based off of our defense. We had a guy this year, senior defensive end. He's actually going to play at UNC Pembroke, which is about an hour and a half up the road from us, D2 school. He came in after his junior year, had like 15 sacks on the year his junior year. Very, very good, very quick, very good get off. And then he came to us and we're like, listen, that's cool and all. We appreciate that. And you're going to make a ton of plays for us, but it's not going to look the same. So we believe in bull rushing our DNs and squeezing all down blocks. And so at first it was a little bumpy, but he started catching on, and now he became a factor in the run game. So I think he ended the year with like 8 or 9 tackles for loss, and I think he had about 7 sacks or so. So his sack total went down, but he was a force in the run game also. We don't have no guys that's like Von Miller or Jadavian Clowney or nobody like that. So we're going to play gap sound and have integrity in the run game and pass game. As far as our ends, we align in a heavy 5. That's what we call it, which we say eye to eye, knee to knee. You should be eye to eye with the tackle or knee to knee. And if you are, then you're in great position. Like I said, we squeeze and attack all pullers, keeping our outside shoulder free. We want to squeeze everything. We believe that that's the best way to play it. We take the puller out and let our linebackers make the play. And so with our defensive line, our whole thing is we want to eat up all the blocks so our linebackers can run free. And that's what we do. And a lot of times you won't see our linebackers get blocked because our D-line is really good at the technique that they do. We also teach our guys, like I said, we bull rush in the pass game. So we don't want to create passing lanes. And I got a play on here where we created this huge passing lane, and it makes me sick all the time because you create this passing lane or the quarterback throws straight through it or he runs through it. But we believe if you don't create a passing lane to throw through in the high school game, you're going to neutralize a passing game because most of the time, you're not going to play a quarterback that's over 6'2" with us, I should say. So, I mean, this year I think we played one quarterback that was 6'5". He's going to UNC. Outside of that, I mean, our quarterback is like 5'7", 5'8". And so we just believe if you bull rush the tackle, he has no vision. So now he has to scramble. We want to force the quarterback to do something that they don't want to do. And then we tell our DNs to get flat and chase the ball. And this is something we burn into their head. I think any DN you talk to in our program, 9th grade, 10th grade, doesn't matter. They will tell you, if you don't get blocked, you make the play. I don't care if you're backside, front side, or wherever. If you don't get blocked, you make the play. And so you'll see on a lot of our run plays where the backside DN comes in and makes a tackle, and the team's running stretch away or some kind of outside zone away, but our DNs really bought into getting flat and chasing the ball. Our defensive tackles, like I said, we always attack guards, whether you're in the 1 or the 3. I know with the 1 tech, you're kind of shaded on the center, and we're somewhere between a 1 tech and a 2-eye, but we always want to get hands on the guard. We feel like at the 1 tech, if you get hands on the guard in any situation, whether it's pass or run, the center's going to have to come to you. So we want to make it so the center has to come to you and the guard always has hands on him. So if he's pulling, we want to be there to disrupt the pull. And so that's what we do. We always attack guards. Like I said, you must demand double team. Can't demand a double team, you can't play for us. And I hate that sounds very rigid to some, but that's how we coach. You can't demand a double team, then you can't play for us. Because we're in Charlotte, and in Charlotte, I'd like to say that Charlotte football is very different. Although Charlotte's known for basketball, the speed of Charlotte is like none other. There's so much speed in Charlotte. Another thing we force the issue on is you cannot get pushed out of your lane. We're very much a defense that believes in offenses are trying to go to specific places with the ball, whether it's either the hashes, the middle of the field, or the no cover zone. So with that being said, we want you in your lane so we never have any sort of weakness. We know our weaknesses in the pass game is the flat, the no cover zone, but we're cool with that. Another thing is we tell our D-line, do not go 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. If you defeat your block, that's cool. Get flat and play. But do not just keep rushing upfield or anything like that. That's when you get washed out to play, and that's when everything changes. And now Lamar Jackson takes off and gets a 80-yard touchdown run. So linebackers, inside linebackers, Mike and Will. In cover 3, we align toes at 5 yards. Toes at 5 yards, and he lines up in the A-gap to the field. Reason we do toes at 5 yards, I like to call it on the mountain. I'm going to put you on the mountain, and all you got to do is come down the mountain. But I like to say that if you're closer than 5 yards, if you put your heels at 5 or you're anywhere closer than that, you're going to get blocked. Simple as that. You're going to get blocked. And me previously coaching offensive line before, I can attest to that. I like to say that if you're closer, if you're anywhere near trash, all the linemen got to do is get in the way or fall down in front of you, and you're not going to make the play. So we back them up. I have some linebackers that might be at 6 yards, and we're fine with that. All you got to do is come down the mountain. That's what I tell them. Come down the mountain. And so if it's trips, we will tab our mic out. And here's where it gets a little different and stuff we may do. Some people call tabbing that linebacker out. You might apex number 3 in the tackle or the end man on the line of scrimmage, or apex number 2 in the tight end, whatever it may be. We just tell our mic, line up in the middle of the field. Look at the goalpost, and that's where you should be standing. And so now he's in the middle of the field. He's at 5 yards. He can still play the run. His run responsibility would be C-gap, and he can still be in the middle of the field. Like I said, we believe offenses are getting to certain points on the field. hashes, middle of the field, no cover zone. And so we want to have somebody always on the hash and always in the middle of the field. We're going to force the ball to get thrown outside. Then in cover 4, like the normal 4-3 look, Mike's in A gap, toes at 5. Will and Sam are outside apexing, or we call it nipple, something different, but to each his own. Everything's the same basically. The Will, same thing. We'll line the Will up in cover 3, toes at 5, in B gap to the boundary. If it's trips, when the Mike tabs out, we pull the rope, and the Will is stand directly behind the one tech. I'm a firm believer is if he stands directly behind the one tech, it is hard as crap for the center and guard, and say they're running inside zone or anything, to double team to him because of where he's standing. It messes up communication. Do I have him? Do you have him? So we tell him line up directly behind the one tech. So it gives him a little more time to come down the mountain. And then in cover 4, like I said, we bump him out and we apex. Our outside linebackers, and I do have a picture of this. I think it's maybe the next slide. Our Sam, that's like our strong side nickel type. He's always aligns to the field. If our Sam is not to the field, our Sam will not be on the field anymore. So he has to be to the field. What we tell him, like, we don't tell our Sam to line up on specific people or anything like that. We tell him you can line up on the goalpost or the upright farthest away. So the upright to the field. And the reason we do that, we think he's always going to be in position. If we do that, he's always going to protect the sideline. And then we put him 1 yard behind the mic. And so that could be 6 yards, that could be 7 yards. We're cool with either one of those. Because like I said, we believe in coming down the mountain. We think if your Sam linebacker or your outside linebacker is, say, 1x5 or whatever you want to say, 4x4, whatever, however you want to do it, or apex, and he's at 5 yards, he's always going to show up too early. That's what we think. Those outside linebackers going to show up early. They'll see a down blocker. They'll see the ball coming to them. The first thing they do is activate and come down, and they get cracked by a wide receiver. So we'll line them up deep, 6 or 7 yards, and we tell them, don't let the ball get to the sideline. You let the ball get to the sideline, you come out. And we stick by that. I mean, that's almost said at every position, but because we're such a big school and we have about 65, I mean, we don't have a ton of players. We got about 65 to 70 compared to some schools here. That's a lot, but some schools it's not. But we roll our guys. We always want to be healthy, so we make sure we roll our guys. And if you mess up, go ahead and step out. And next time you might not mess up. And so our rover, which is that backside safety linebacker type, he's always aligned to the boundary. We tell him same thing. You protect the sideline. And I don't care if you're in cover 4, you're up safety, or you're in cover 3, you're a down linebacker. You protect the sideline. And so in cover 3, he lines up between the hash and the top of the numbers, 1 yard behind the mic and Will. So anywhere between the hash and the top of the numbers, he can align depending on if there's some kind of, however the wide receiver out there, that number 1, that X wide receiver, he might get real wide or he might get tight. But we always tell him if he gets tight, it doesn't matter. We don't want you to line up off him. We want you to line up off the hash and the top of the number. And then in cover 4, he backs up 10 yards on the hash. So this is our alignment to cover 3. We got a trips to the field look. So this is our Sam strong side outside linebacker. He's actually a little bit farther than the upright of the goalpost, but we're cool with that. This is our Mike linebacker. He's standing directly in the middle of the field. This is our Will. He's directly behind the one tech. And this is our rover between the hash and the top of the numbers. We got a cornerback here you can't see. And our free safety, that's another person we tell our free safety, you got 3 places you can align. Right upright, goalpost, left upright. We don't believe in lining our free safety up over the center or over the ball or anything like that. we think that if you align him up in one of those three places, he always has a good fit. He's always able to play the run or the pass on either side. And then the cool thing that we tell him, and it makes it easier, these two guys right here are protecting the sideline. Their job is to never let the ball get to the sideline. So all you got to do is fit inside of them. That's all he has to do. All right, so in cover four, just like everybody else, two safeties high. Right here, we tell our safeties stand on the hash. This guy's a little off, but this guy was a playmaker for us, so we give a lot of room for our guys to adjust a little bit. But he knows that the hash is where he's supposed to be, and if he's not attacked vertically, then we want him to be on that hash because that's where the ball is going to be, regardless between either the two safeties or the middle of the field. Like I said, we believe in shutting down the middle of the field and the two hashes, and that'll neutralize any pass game. And like I said before, we shoot our safeties, so we do everybody. Basically, all linebackers and safeties are reading quarterback. So if quarterback looks to the left, everybody is shuffling to the left. If the safety to the side that the quarterback's looking is getting attacked vertically, he's turning and sprinting to the far pylon, the pylon in the end zone. So right now, if the quarterback was looking to the top of the screen, and the free safety right here was getting attacked vertically, he's turning and he's running straight to the back pylon. That'll keep him over top of any route. It doesn't matter if it's a go route or fade, a nine, whatever you want to call it, a corner route, anything like that. He's over top of it if he's getting attacked vertically. And then what we tell the backside safety, the rover, we tell the rover he's still going to open up and still read number two. Number two tells you what to do. But first, we look in quarterback. So we look quarterback to number two, quarterback to number two. And so what that does is we don't want to have a guy back here on the backside that's not engaged in the play. And we know offenses are going to try to get us with eye candy or whatever it may be. So we know that we're going to get attacked vert, or we might get the double post or whatever it may be. So what we're going to do is, if the quarterback's looking to the left, we're going to bring this backside safety, this rover, to the middle of the field. And now the high safety knows he doesn't have to, on the double post, he has no reason to bite down on the first post. He stays over top because we have somebody in the middle field for him. And then with the linebackers, we say apex, or we have another term we use, but it's all in the same. He's apexing these two guys, and same thing with this guy. But like I said, we tell him stand in the middle of the field to the upright, and he's always right to the field. And so that really gets us in position. And so now we got 3 over 2 over here, and we got 3 over 2 over here, and we're pretty even. We protecting the sideline, and we have these guys that can easily come down and fill into run game. Then if you look at other types of offenses, this is a really good team out of named Alexander Central. I think they're in Alexander County or something like that, North Carolina. And they run a lot of wing T, single wing, and a lot of funky formations, unbalanced, tackle over type deal. And as you can see, we live by what we are. The 3 tech is always going to be to the field. The 1 tech is always going to be to the boundary. And some people would say, well, why would you do that against wing T teams, stuff like that? They're going to hit a dive to the back to the 1 tech or something like that. But, I mean, we live by what we are. We think if we don't have to install, we can make adjustments. We can practice playing those style offenses. So you see our linebacker still way out here on air, basically, because we inverted the corner up. Our linebackers out here on air, so we don't want to get beat with a jet sweep or any kind of sweep or anything like that these offenses run. And our inside linebackers, this is our rover, our free safety, and then the other corner. And so we went with a nub side, and it works for us. And I think because so many defenses try to adjust to offenses and stop a specific scheme, that's where you get all these points scored. That's where you see teams score 40 or 50 points a game, and the air raid offense and the run and shoot and all these different offenses, which I fully support. I love seeing them. I just don't love seeing them against me. And so I think the way to slow the game down is to be in the safest defense possible and let teams nickel and dime you all the way down the field, because somebody's going to get impatient or somebody's going to mess up. One of the offensive linemen going to get tired. He going to flinch and get a false start. That's what we think. And maybe they don't, but you're going to have to go 12, 15 plays on us to score. You're going to have to work for yours. And it works for us. And like I said, we didn't get a ton of turnovers, even though that's what we pride ourselves on. This is a very turnover-driven defense. But this year we didn't get a ton of them. But we didn't have a lot of teams that could finish on us. We didn't really get a ton of 3-and-outs. And it's crazy, but we never had high scores on us except one game. And the reason being is because we're always in the safest defense. We know that teams like this are going to sweep, dive up the middle, and then counter, outside, jet sweep, and then they're going to come right back up the middle. And that's what teams do. All offenses are the same, and they're always trying to set something up. So if you know that, just get in a safe defense and play that. And so that's what we live by. And just alignment. Like I said, our corners are always at 7 yards with outside leverage. There's nothing you can do to get us to change that. We never get beat deep at corner. When we tell our guys, you're playing off for a reason. All the stuff you see in 7-on-7 and all that, that is excellent. Do that while you're there, because we don't do that. And I've told you this before, Coach, we are terrified of speed. We will do anything to not have to play speed or to take speed out. And so we're going to put our corners outside leverage 7 yards off. We're going to tell him, I don't want you to touch the receiver. If the receiver is close enough for you to touch him, then you did not do your job and you got to come out. And so doing that, we're always protecting ourselves from the big play. And what we tell our DBs, you get backpedal a quick 3 and zone turn. And with a quick 3, some people say 3 backpedal. Some people say that. We say cover 3 yards. Cover 3 yards in your backpedal. If you've covered 3 yards, you should know by now if it's a short route and you don't have to open up, you just plant and break. If it's an in-breaking route, you'll know all this off of a quick 3 yards. Not a quick 3 backpedals, because 16-year-old guy, quick 3, he gets his 2 in and then he's turning. No, we tell him 3 yards. Then we tell our corners in short yardage situations, offenses are not trying to throw a 15-yard post, a post breaking at 12, going 15 or whatever, or anything like that when it's 3rd and 5. They're either going to run the ball or they're going to throw the ball to the sticks. And we actually did a study, and we're always doing them. What we saw was all hitches and outs to the sticks. And the reason being is because now the quarterback has something visual he throws to. And then this in the last 2 weeks or so, we've broke down some film of some other places. And my defensive coordinator was actually a defensive coordinator at a couple other high schools and on the college level. And so we got some other film and was looking at it. And we start seeing teams also, offenses are also trying to throw the speed out to the field on 3rd down because it's a lot of space and all that. So knowing that, we tell our corners, get your quick 3. And if you're not getting attacked vert, plant and break, and you should get you some money then. So we play the sticks. That's what we'll say on 3rd down. We don't say money down or nothing. We say play the sticks. Then free safety and cover 3 is aligned to 12 yards. And we only give them 3 places to align. We don't tell them align over the ball. We don't tell them to kind of apex the 2 farthest. We tell them line up on either upright or the goalpost. If you land on one of those 3 places, you'll always be on the right part of in the right part of the field, and you'll always be in a position where you can play either any route if it's a pass on either side, or you can come down and fit in the run game. Then in cover 4, still aligned to the field, he's at 10 yards on the hash. And we tell him the same thing. Quick 3, get you a quick 3 in, and then read the quarterback eyes. If the quarterback's looking to the field, you getting pressed vert, go to corner of the end zone. Quarterback looking to the field, and you're not getting pressed vert, you can weave in your back pedal a little bit, but we try not to overcoach and we try not to overtalk. We just tell them, hey, quick 3 and read. Quick 3 and read the quarterback eyes. And they make plays off of it, and they do a lot of stuff where you like, dang, like, how he make that play? But it's really just off of letting the kid be an athlete. We want to let him be an athlete, and the kids know too. If it smells funny, then it's probably something funny. And so how our zone defense is different. I mean, a lot of people run cover 3, a lot of people run cover 4, and there's different ways of doing all this stuff. But we tend to believe that offenses are trying to throw the ball to certain spots on the field. And to even go in depth with that more, we believe that offenses are trying to throw the ball to a certain spot on the field within 3 seconds. If the ball isn't thrown within 3 seconds, in our eyes, it's a sack. And so we think we got to have people on those spots of the field. And those are the 2 hashes and the middle of the field. And so you'll always see somebody on those unless the quarterback's looking somewhere else in passing situations. And we have our linebackers drop on quarterback eyes. So we're not the old school turn and drop, turn, run, settle. No, we're looking at the quarterback eyes. If the quarterback looks left, you open left, and then you get to 10 and you play basketball. So if he stays looking left, you shuffle that way once you get to 10 yards. If he looks right, obviously vice versa. And we tell all our linebackers. So if we're in cover 3, all 4 guys underneath should be doing that. And then like I said, and we teach our linebackers, hey, get on the hash. Okay, your quarterback's looking your way. You got to get to the hash. That's where the slant's going to hit. That's where the stick is going to be at. That's where whatever is going to be. So that's what we train our guys and tell our guys. And we put a really big importance on 10 yards. We think that 10 yards is where 90% of the routes run break at. 90% of the route run break at 10 yards. So we're going to be at 10 yards, and everything should be in front of us or even with us. Everything must stay underneath, and we tackle it. We don't believe in covering 5-yard routes. The moment you cover a 5-yard route is the moment you lose. Because when you start putting your Sam out there on number 2 to trips because they're throwing bubbles and you want to get him to fit or whatever it may be, is the minute they start doing stuff like hitting you with slants. Because now if you move him way out there, who's the space between the Sam and the Mike is too big. So we don't adjust to nothing like that. We stay how we are. And now we can tell the kids, hey, listen, they run a bubble, you need to insert between number 1 and 2, or you need to do whatever. And then the free safety just has to make it right. And the free safety makes everything possible. He has to read the quarterback's eyes, and he has to believe. And like I said, we're very basic. We run cover 3 and cover 4. We don't believe in mixing coverages. You ain't gonna see us in a too high shell and then at the snap we roll down. No, we are in what we're in. If we're in cover 3, you're gonna see 4 linebackers down. And that's just because we believe that if you're rolling, you're not reading. And so now you're putting the kid in a disadvantage because coach told him to roll down the 7-yard. Coach told him to roll down to the flats or to the curl. Well, I'm rolling down to the curl, but the receiver just ran past me. And so we don't want to leave no margin for error. So we're going to put them there and then tell them to be an athlete. And then we changed the jobs of our linebackers. So on cover 4, if you're hitting us bad to the flats, we might tell them, hey, flats. And we have different terms, but we might say flats. And that means both outside linebacker on pass read, they go straight to the flats right now. Or we might tell them to hold their water and stay in the seams and make the ball get funneled out to the sideline. We got a couple different terms where we change that and make it easy on our guys. But another way that our defense is different, and there's the old cliche of defense, the D-line and the O-line, the trenches win the ball game, but we believe in that too. We firmly believe in that. And so the biggest difference in what we do is we bull rush our D-line. And the reason we bull rush our D-line is because we want to cut out all passing lanes. We don't want to have passing lanes because passing lanes give places for quarterback to throw, especially in the high school realm. Most quarterbacks in high school, unless you're facing this D1 recruit, which we face them too, are 6'2", 6'3", maybe. But, I mean, you'll play some schools that have quarterbacks that's 5'7", 5'8". Our quarterback is 5'8". And so we want to bull rush. We want to stand them 6'2", 6'3", maybe 6'5" linemen up so he can't see over them. And we want to force him to funnel the ball outside. So that's why we bull rush. And this year we weren't excellent at it because we had some really, really fast defensive ends, and they were used to just speed rushing and going to get the sack because that's what everybody teaches. Everybody teaches, hey, third down, the money down, go get the sack. And so we had to kind of pull them back a little bit and really teach them how to bull rush and really teach them how technique will win it. But like I said, it cuts out the inside visual lanes to see and throw through. And we want to make all throws go outside and we rally and tackle them. And then we're going to get sacks from tight coverage, not from speed rush. We're going to get our sacks because the quarterback had to touch the ball a couple times. So defending the run, our D-line squeezes. We're going to squeeze and stuff all gaps. We want to take out all pullers. The guards are the key to offenses that we see. Everybody may be different, but the offenses we see, guards are the key to them because we see a lot of power, counter, trap, stuff like that, and even inside zone. Then our linebackers, what we teach our linebackers is run, 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 run. Oh, crap, it's a pass. And I want them to think that way. Run, 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 run. Oh, crap, it's a pass. Because I want them to be late to the pass party because you're not going to run the ball on us. That's how we think. You're not going to run the ball on us. And when we play air raid teams and they want to run the ball 10 times a game, that's perfectly fine. And we can adjust to that, but you're not going to run the ball on us. And that's the way we talk. And then our free safety inserts just inside the Sam and the Rover in the run game. And it gives him a great visual key to tell him, you just got to run inside of that guy over number 3 or the Sam, your best friend Jordan. You just got to run inside of him. If you fit inside of him, you'll always be right. And then the corners, you have to tackle. You can't tackle, you can't play for us. And so one of the things that we formulated and between myself and our defensive coordinator and probably some of the guys he's worked with also to make the reads for linebackers easier. Like I said, we're rappers. We sing songs. To these kids, you got to hold their attention and you got to be able to appeal to them for them to learn. So we say we rappers. I'm a rapper. Hey, I sing songs all the time. And so I say, if you don't know what to do, read the outside shoe, and that's the outside linebackers. So now if I'm the Sam, I'm looking at the outside shoe of the tackle, it's gonna tell me everything. If he's kicking, it's a pass. If he attacks vertically or gets upfield, it's a run. So now I know my fit quickly. Zone, stay home. That's for the inside linebacker. In zone, if it's inside zone or outside zone, you can shuffle, but I don't want you to attack down the box, because as soon as you do that, we all know the running back's going to hit another gap. So we say zone, stay home. We're going to make the running back pick a gap, and then we're going to feel and bloody his chin a little bit. Then we pull, I'm gone. And actually, I didn't do that right. So if any of my players see that, they're gonna laugh and get on me. But it's pull, and your voice is supposed to, the pitch of your voice is supposed to change. It's pull, I'm gone. And the reason we do that just for funny stuff, but they'll always remember. So if the guard pulls, I gotta go right now. There's no waiting. There's no field backside. No. Pull, I'm gone. And so now I'm going. Then we say play goes away, check the backside A. And so, and I kind of tell my guys, play go away. If it's a run play and it's going away, don't check the backside A, run through the backside A. But either way, whatever you want to call it, play go away, check the backside A. That's the same thing to us as pulling the rope. And then play come my way, I make the play. So this is a huge thing because our outside linebackers, that Sam and Rover, we always tell them, protect the sideline. Don't let the ball get the sideline. Don't let the ball get the sideline. Well, we know kids are literal. So if you tell them don't let the ball get to the sideline, they might just sprint to the sideline and let the ball cut up underneath them. So we also say, play come my way, I make the play. So now that's telling you, yeah, don't let the ball get outside of you, but it's coming my way. So I got all jurisdiction as anybody else to go up and get my tackle. We don't care. It ain't no, you make the ball cut up for the free safety. No, if you got a shot, take your shot. Down, go around. And so down, go around, that would be any kind of, if I'm the play side linebacker and they're running, say they're running long trap my way or power my way, and I get a down block by the tackle and a down block by the guard, I'm going around. I'm fitting the C gap right now. And then open window, close it. That's the same thing as plugging a gap. And then pull same side, get outside. And this actually, we thought of this mid-season and was playing a team that ran a lot of buck sweep on us. That was going to run a lot of buck sweep on us because that was the staple of their run game. And so I told the guys, hey, listen, if the pull is, if you're reading your guard right in front of you and he pulls outside, meaning the same side that he's on, you got to get outside of him. And so we say pull same side, get outside. And the kids love it. We'll be walking down the hallway. I'm in the lunch cafeteria room and I see them. I'll be like, down, and they should say go around. If they don't, there's nothing going to happen. But I'm going to be like, all right, now you better pay attention in the meetings, because if you can't recite that back to me, then you can't play if you don't know what you're doing. And so we love those songs. The kids love them. And they work out really, really good for us. So a little bit of film here. This is a team. They go two back. Like I said, we're in cover 3. This is our Rover. He's got to be between the hash and the top of the numbers. This is our Will right behind the one tech. Our Mike, and then our Sam way out here. He's lined up on the upright. So we're good. So right here, team tries to run in the boundary, because that's what a lot of to the weak side, because that's what a lot of teams do. A lot of teams are going to try to attack the one tech. I'm going to attack the one technique because ain't a lot of guys over there. All I got to do is if I run inside zone to the one tech side, if my guard gets up there to the wheel, the band playing. Well, that's not the case because we got a Rover linebacker safety over there too. So now our one tech that's 180 pounds, he gives a heck of a fight to this center and guard and splits the double team. our Will right here is running free. Rover got his nose here, and the end has his nose still on C-gap. So now no gain, and we're going to get everybody to the ball. We're going to get everybody running to the ball. Here's another play, cover 3. Like I said, we don't tell the free safety to line up over the ball. You line up over the ball, you're wrong. You're coming out. And we're very much vocal coaches. You'll hear us on the sideline, slide over. Hey, free safety. Hey, this person, free safety, slide over. Get on the upright. Because we believe in coaching our players. One thing that irks me the most, and I laugh with other coaches, and we go to basketball games, you'll hear nothing. And it's like, dang, like, they not coaching their kids during the game? Like, yeah, everybody can hear you, but who cares? So we believe in coaching our kids, so we'll tell them, hey, slide over. You're not in the right spot. But here's another one. They got a 3-back set. And so right here, we told our end to let the ball go inside because this quarterback was a jitterbug. And you can see he kind of danced on us a little bit right here. But because of how we're aligned, we're in the safest place. Our D-line takes up all the blocks. And then our Will linebacker's right there to make the tackle. And like I said, everybody must get to the ball. Even the top corner, the guy that's the farthest away, he's going to run and get to the ball because that's what we believe in. That's what we set our hat on. You can't run and get the ball, you can't play. Right here, we got trips. One thing that we know you should never do, and this is just something we say. Everybody might not feel this way, but we feel this way. You never blitz the mic in trips, ever, ever. But right here, because we know this team, because we know they were going to motion this guy in to run some 2-back down dive and pitch relation. We knew that, so we told him, Mike, hey, if they run that, then go. And so that's kind of what happened. They ran that. He blitzed off the edge. And it's a pass. And like I said, we tell our corners a quick 3, zone turn, and get out of there. Don't touch the receiver. Don't be close. And so this corner is so far on top. And he's not 10 yards on top, but he's a good 3 yards on top of this receiver. So they throw this fade, and our guy has enough time to turn around, which he shouldn't have done, but to flip his hips all the way around to still contest for the ball. We want him to be over top. I'm scared of speed. And this guy right here, number 11, is a track guy. He's a sprinter. But I don't want to take no chances with this sprinter and that sprinter. So we're going to keep our guy over top. Right here, this is one of those adjustments we make. So we have different terms that we tell our guys. So we told this DN up here, hey, listen, they're going to run this thing till the cows come home. So we're going to make them not run this no more. And so we'll change the job of certain people. This guy, the DNs, we changed their job. We said if the dive is going away from you, you tackle the quarterback. I don't care if it's a pass, if it's whatever. If it looked like a dive going away from you, tackle the quarterback. And so this guy is a nasty dude. Coach told me to tackle him and slam on his head, so I'm going to slam on his head. He's one of those type guys. And so we had a blitz out here by the Rover, and he's tackling the quarterback, and the run didn't come his way. But it's good in a sense of we don't want the quarterback to get comfortable. He like, man, I ain't even have the ball and they hitting me. Coach, we can't run that. That's what we want him to think. We want him to, when he pulls it, he pitch it early. And so, but let's look at where the play goes. He hands the dive off. They run like a counter, and our one tech does a good job of taking the block and sustaining it. Our end was actually wrong. He's supposed to be high outside, but it's fine. Our rover was good in there. Our end takes the puller and the rover and the wheel. And for the wheel, like I said, we sing songs. This guy right here, great athlete. He was a baby. He is sophomore, and he never started a linebacker on JV. And so this was like his second game ever playing serious time on varsity, or ever playing serious time at linebacker, period. But he know coach said down, down, go around. So right here, he got down, down, he went around. And so he's there to make the play. And like I said, everybody get to the ball. So that's how we play. Here's a cover 4 look. Got our Sam, our Mike, our Will. That Will is ticking me off because he's a little closer than I like, but it's okay. Safety's on the hash. And so right here, we're wrong. This DN, this the guy I told you he had like, I can't remember, well over 10 to 12 sacks his junior year. So coming back, he was a speed rusher, all conference. He sped rush, and he left a gap for the quarterback to see and throw through. So that's what I'm saying, where we got a bull rush. And if you bull rush, now the quarterback has to pat the ball till this receiver gets out between the numbers and hash. But regardless, it was an overthrow. And you can see we're not playing with overly athletic kids. This guy right here has never played football before. He decided his senior year. His mom told him he was big, so he needed to come to football. And hey, we can make it work if you can run, if you can move. The linebacker, the Mike, he played nose guard the year before, and he was like 5'7", 260 that year. And then he got on a diet and lost like 60 pounds, and so he went to Mike. So you can see it ain't that we're overly athletic and we're competing in Charlotte. So Charlotte has studs, but we put the kids in a safe place for them to make plays. Same thing right here. They run that little motion, and they're going to run the little dive and pitch option. We told the DN, you tag the quarterback. We don't care about that. Tag the quarterback. He tags the quarterback, and he forces a fumble. And so we do this nonstop, and we change little things. We're not going to change our whole defense. Oh, they're running a 2-back dive and pitch option. So now instead of running or whatever, we're going to do this. Or they put a tight end in and they're really good. They run 11 personnel and run buck sweep with a tight end. So now I need to bring my Sam down and put him on the tight end. No, we're not doing that. We're going to line up the same way, and we're going to play it exactly the same. They're running trap to the field. They're trying to trap our 3-tech, and they do. But this DN right here, learn how to squeeze blocks. He squeezed down and he makes the tackle from the backside. And then the Mike fills his gap, and we're right there ready to go. And so you can do stuff like this, and your kids, it's almost like it seems like our kids know the play. Now, surprisingly, we rarely even teach our kids, hey, listen, this is a counter blocking scheme. This is a zone blocking scheme. We tell them, hey, you know what inside zone is? If the lineman ain't all coming towards you, if ain't no lineman coming towards you right now, it's zone. So stay home. And so we don't teach our kids all this stuff. We just teach them regular football and let them play. We want our athletes to play. Right here, pass. Like I told you, our kids know landmarks. So he's just outside the hash. He's sitting on this route. He's just inside the hash. He's sitting on this hitch route. They're splitting the difference between the two. He's over top of it. So there's no way for him to throw the ball. Everybody on the D-line bull rushed except the one end. And if the end bull rushes, there's no place for him to go with the ball. It's going to be a sack at the end bull rushes. But he doesn't. And so, I mean, the linebacker caught the brunt of it right there, but that's excellent coverage. You can't get no better than that with coverage. But our kids don't know these routes. Some of these guys might not even be able to tell you what kind of route this is. But they do know, coach said I need to get to 10 yards, get on the hash, or get to 10 yards, play basketball. Look and see if there's anybody around me. And when they did that, they're successful. I think I got two more plays. This right here is a weird play, and I don't even know why I was on there. This is another play. So this team goes I formation. They got a pro right set with a tight end here, and they're in I formation, and they're running like a dive pitch option to the boundary. And right here, they get, I think, 3 or 4 yards off it. But that's because this rover, if you see, we tell him he needs to be between the hash and the top of the numbers. And he's right there on the hash. So if he's a little farther out, they probably don't get any yards at all. But you can see, and we tell our linebackers, and when the quarterback's under center, if the quarterback turns his back, you plug your gap. And that's a song. Quarterback turns his back, you plug your gap. Quarterback turned his back, we plugged our gap, so there was nowhere for the dive to get space. The dive gets tackled. So they take it outside. As you can see right here, the quarterback got tackled. Quarterback got tackled. And the rover was not in place, so they get a 3 yard. I think it ends up being 3rd down and 1 or something like that. And so that's the basis of our defense. We're going to line our kids up in the safest place possible for them to make plays, and we'll go from there. They can make plays as athletes. Most kids that we've came in contact with, he's either seen football or played it. And so they have intuition. They're able to anticipate things. So we want to let them keep that. We're just going to line them up in a place where now you can anticipate however much you want. Right here, speed kills. We're scared of speed. This guy, the running back right here, is committed to Ohio State, and they're trying to run a sweep, and so we string it out and we get a tackle for loss because my Mike did a great job getting around. They ran buck sweep, and he sees down, he knows down, go around, and so he goes around. You think he knows the play, but he doesn't. Our Sam linebacker, in which he kind of bubbles out, and I don't like that, but he knows don't let the ball get outside. So you see him shed a block, and he retraces to make sure he's always outside the ball. And he forced the ball to come back inside to where all our help is. Right here, similar type play, but they ran a counter backside. So they knew we started targeting number 3 because he was the speed guy. He's the best player on the team. So we told our Will and our backside defensive end, hey, listen, if the ball look like it's coming your way, if number 3 come your way, you tackle him. We don't care about none else. Tackle him. And so right here, you see they run that counter. We tackle number 3. We don't care about that. But the quarterback keeps it. And so which is fine. Oh, I messed up there. Oh, there it is. Which is fine because we still have help on the front side. We got our front side in, our 3 tech, our Mike, our Sam to be there to make the play. So it's a no gain. And then I think this is the last play. They got trips to the field, odd formation. We're in the odd defense. So they're in a trips formation. We're in cover 3. And I think we're blitzing the rover right here. Yeah, we're blitzing the rover. rover blitzes. He should have came a little more flatter in his blitz. He knows he's not supposed to go past 2 yards unless the quarterback has the ball. But our Mike is right there. Our 3 tech, our Mike and our Sam are right there to get the tackle. So we're going to line up, be safe. We're going to keep our kids in the best place. We want them to be the best athletes they can be. We don't want to hinder them. We don't want to overtalk them. We just tell them little things that get them right. And we're going to play the same thing all the time. So now they ain't got no questions on how to, hey, coach, what do I do if this? You line up the same place you've been lining up, and you do the same thing you've been doing. And so we found that our kids play 10 times faster when we do that. We're always going to be sound. Here's my contact info if anybody ever wants to reach out and talk to me about our defense or just talk to me about football in general. I'm 100% a Twitter guy. So here's my Twitter handle, and you can always reach out to me on there. That's probably the best place to reach out to me. But if you got any questions, you want to see anything more, see how we defend certain things or anything like that, feel free to reach out. I'm a football guy. I can sit here and talk for 10 hours and be perfectly fine. And that's all. Trojan defense.
All right, Coach, man, great job. Incredible stuff. And we've recorded. We had to record it twice. We got shut down. Now you're on your phone. For some reason, Zoom has been giving us some fits on this one. Of course, no, actually, I was going to say first one was my fault, but actually the first one wasn't my fault. That was Zoom's fault too. So Zoom's been giving us some fits, but just love the defense. And I had said this before, but we hadn't had it recorded. But I'm a huge fan. I can really buy into a lot of defenses. But for me, I buy in more when it's a staff that has fully committed to like one ideal, right? Like saying, hey, we're all in on this. This is our plan and we're all in on this. I love that. And you guys have done that.
Definitely.
Was that a hard sell for your defensive coordinator, or would everybody buy in pretty quickly?
I think it just kind of depends on the people. I think for myself and our DB coach, we're both very young, and it didn't take a whole lot but our defensive coordinator come in with his rings on, and he's coached at a bunch of places. He's an All-American at ECU, and then his coach while he was at ECU was Chuck Pagano, and so the DB coach actually didn't know who that was, but when he said Chuck Pagano, I was like, hold on, like the NFL Chuck Pagano? And he like, yeah. And then he was a defensive coordinator at Winston-Salem State, and he won the HBCU national championship. And then he had been at Winston-Salem State for more years than he had losses while he was there.
Wow.
And then he went to North Carolina A&T, and they won championships there. Then he went to North Carolina Central, and they won championships there. So he's coming in with all these rings, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to this guy, because this guy's won more games than I've ever even thought about. So it was an easy sell. And then I thought coming in, I coached in a system that was very intricate, and we had a lot of success. We had a lot of failures, and I did a ton of like research, and I went to a ton of clinics. Then I went to Glacier in Atlanta, and I met this guy. I'm doing him a disservice because I can't remember his name, but he was the defensive coordinator at Auburn High School in Alabama. Older guy, and he was talking about how simple their defense are, and all they run is 2-read, and they tackle everything, and his blitzes were locations. And so I'm like, man, that's so simple. Like, I feel like if I played in that, I would have dominated. And so then I got around this Coach Hart, Darren Hart, and he's so simple. So I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then our DB coach is Green. This is his first year ever coaching, so he's just
Yeah.
doing whatever he was told. And our D-line coach had been a D coordinator before, so I think that was where the sell was a little harder. But, I mean, everybody jumped aboard because We just had a staff of guys that had no egos.
Was the guy that you listened to Atlanta, was it Gordon Elliott from Auburn, Washington, maybe? Or no?
No, he was
Sure?
Auburn,
He was from
Alabama.
Alabama? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think his name was Patrick Plott.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay, it's coming back. All right, man. Well, I got a couple quick questions here. When you go to when you see 2x2 and you're one of your outside linebackers, that rover drops back and that Will bumps out. Is that Will now a force player?
Yes. So he knows he's a force player, but we don't tell the rover that.
Okay.
He knows he's a force player though, but yeah, we want him to be a force player, and we tell him that, and we tell him, hey, listen, look outside. Is there anybody outside of you? No. So that means you got to make the ball cut up. And that's how I would tell him, like, hey, look, and I'd probably make him look. I'd be like, look over there. You see anybody? Oh, the corner. Is the corner going to make the tackle? Like I would say that. And then he'd start laughing, and he'd be like, no. So I'd be like, all right, so the ball come over here. You make sure it stays inside of you, but you make the tackle. And then the rover still has it burning in his head. That's safety up. He's got it burning his head. Don't let the ball get to the sideline.
Yeah.
So naturally, it's just a process, and he because he's deep, he's 10 yards deep. He'll end up fitting inside of the wheel more than likely. But that's what we tell him. That Will is going to be the force player if we're too high.
Do you ever, question number 2 of 4, do you ever struggle with defending bubble when those force players are so deep, right? Because you got the Salmon Rover at 7. Do they ever hurt you out there on the perimeter?
To be honest with you, not really. And the reason being is because, I mean, they see it and activate so quickly. And we think, and the way we think is with them lined up at 7, when he sees quarterback catch and throw, he's coming downhill. Whereas if he's at 5, he's going to have to come across or come underneath number 2. So we put him at 7. He comes downhill, and we don't tell him, hey, fit outside of number 2 or fit inside of number 2. We don't tell him that. We just tell him, go get the ball, and then we tell the free safety to fit inside of him.
Yeah. Okay. I like it, man. Okay. 2 questions to go. 1, sometimes I saw a stand-up defensive end. What would cause a D end to stand up?
To be honest with you, we absolutely hate our defensive end standing up. We did that this year because that defensive end broke his thumb or something like that, and it was uncomfortable for him to get in a 3-point stance. But we absolutely hate it, and we will not do that this year at all.
Unless he breaks his thumb.
Unless we get another broken thumb.
Unless you get another doctor's note that says, please do not make Michael get in a 3-point stance, right? It's one of those things.
The crazy thing is he didn't go in a cast. Like, they didn't put it in the cast. So I'm like, he just got like one of those little soft splints for gameplay and stuff. And I'm like, man, if you're in a soft splint, you can get in the 3-point stance. But hey, that's why I got a degree in PE, and the doctors got a degree in whatever they got there.
Yeah, something that was harder to get. That's basically
it.
All right, last question. When I think about cover 3, and I've been a cover 3 guy for a long time, I've always had my corners with inside leverage because in theory, they are 1/3, they're deep third responsible. So if they were to get 2 receivers, they need to be between them both, right? To be able to play them both. So I'm wondering why you guys like outside leverage from those corners.
So we do outside leverage for 2 reasons. First reason being, we want the corners to always have their body open in a place where they can see the ball. And we're not telling them to look at the ball, but that's why we don't man turn either. We don't want to have to teach our kids to turn and look back.
Yeah.
And to even stand on that, our defensive coordinator, before he was a D coordinator, he was a DB coach. And on the college level, he said, Coach, if I get beat deep, I lose my job. And so he said, and they'd run man and stuff because he was a DB coach at the time. He said, so he used to tell his guys, you can't turn and look for the ball until you're a senior.
I love that.
So, and the reason he did that was because he's like, if they turn and look for the ball, they're gonna lose the receiver. I'd rather them just play the receiver, play through his hands. When his eyes get big, you put your hands through his hands.
Yeah.
And so reason number one, we want them to always have their body open in a way that they can see the ball in the air, see the quarterback throw, and see if it's an in-breaking route. If there's a wheel coming behind, say they run a post wheel, his body is open in a way that he can see the wheel coming behind him and maybe get off that post if needed. Reason number two, and this was something I actually got from watching Nick Saban's split safety clinic, I believe it was, his little video on YouTube. But he was talking about where the receivers lined that on the field and stuff. And he's talking about safety fitting in between it. But he basically was talking about the corners have outside leverage. When you're in a one high set, your corners should always have outside leverage because they're going to funnel the ball into the safety that's in the middle of the field. Versus if the corners have inside leverage and you get a stem and the receiver gets outside, now the receiver he stack you on his inside hip. He can fade to the sideline to catch a fade ball or anything like that. And that one high safety is not going to get there. Now, if we're in two high and you got like your old school cover two, those safeties are getting to the outside anyway. They're getting deep and outside. They're going right now. So we just believe line them up outside leverage, and funnel them to our free safety, funnel them to our deep linebackers, and see everything.
Well, Coach, sorry, I just got a question from my wife right as you finished that answer. I just really impressed, man, and honestly just jealous of like how far you are as such a young coach, and knowing how long it took me to get even asking like the questions you were asking, like, and thinking through the way you're thinking through. It took me a solid decade to get there beyond where you are right now. So I'm just jealous of that, man, and just, excited for you to be able to get there at the age of 24, I think you said, right?
Yes, sir.
To get there now, man, you'd be far beyond, by the time you get to my age, 42 almost, in a week, you'll be far beyond.
I'm a student of the game. I've always
That's
been
all it
that.
takes, right? Just a desire to learn.
When I played, I was a student of the game. I'd watch film. When I started coaching at 20. So I'm going into my 5th year, and I mean, we be done with our defensive meeting and offense still meeting. So I go sit in the offense room. And when I was on offense, we done with our offensive meeting, I go sit in the defense room. Or I'd be like, hey, Coach blah, 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 who's the coordinator for the other side. I'd be like, you mind sitting and watch film with me? And I just sit and watch film until they're like, okay, my wife done called me 4 times. It's time for me to go. I done missed dinner. And so I'm going to sit there until you tell me, okay, let's go. Just because I want to pick people's brain and I want to learn everything. I feel like I don't know enough. I'm so scared that my position is going to get exposed. So I'm always trying to find out why this receiver stemmed this way, or why the quarterback did this before a play, or whatever. I'm always trying to figure stuff out.
Well, like I said, really excited for you. Very grateful that you joined us here on Chief Pigskin and willing to present. And I'm excited for everybody that got to see it, man. Hey, any closing thoughts before I sign us off?
Like I said, it's an honor to be on Chief Pigskin, man. I watched all your videos. I feel like I've seen every one of them at least twice. And I mean, it's cool to have this platform and to do something like this, and hopefully down the road we'll be in a position where I got something else to share, or maybe some program stuff or whatever. I don't know.
Sure.
But just it's awesome to be on this platform for sure.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate your support. All you guys at home, hey, like, subscribe, show us some support, show us some love. Look Coach up on Twitter, and we'll see you here next on our YouTube channel next Tuesday for some more home clinics.